In this tutorial, we're going to teach you how to create a sanity system. This is an updated version of the one that we used in our first commercial game, Escape Knox Manor, which we're trying to make a remake of because it was really bad. Also, we're sorry that this isn't the second half of the customizable character tutorial, as the computer with those videos on it is currently under maintenance. Sanity sliders are a great addition to survival games as well as horror games. So if you decide to use this in your game, we would love to know, so just go ahead and leave your game in the comment section and we'll try it out. The only third-party asset that we'll be using is the mini first-person controller by Simon Posse. You'll see here that we already have a basic level set up, and the first thing that we're going to do is create a UI slider. Now before we get too far in positioning our slider, we're going to want to change the UI scale mode on the canvas to scale with screen size. After that, we're going to finish positioning our slider, then we'll delete the handle. After that, we'll make it so the fill area matches the background as well as the fill itself. And then I'm going to change the background color to a transparent gray. Then I'm going to make the fill itself a green color. The slider is going to represent our sanity, and as it goes down, we'll be going insane. So the next thing that we're going to have to do is create a new script, and we're going to call it Sanity Manager. And then we're going to drag our script onto our slider object. Just in case, we're also going to make it so the slider is not interactable. After that, we're going to open up our script in Visual Studio. The first thing that we're going to do is delete our update function. And we're going to say using Unity Engine.ui. We're going to have a private reference to a slider, and I'm just going to call it Sanity Slider. And for now, a public int called Full Sanity. And then we're going to go into our start function, and we're going to say Sanity Slider is equal to get component slider. Then Sanity Slider.maxValue equals Full Sanity, and Sanity Slider.value equals Full Sanity as well. Now, instead of using the update function, we're going to use an I enumerator, and we're going to call it lose sanity. And then it's going to say, while sanity slider.value is greater than 0, then yield return null. At the end of our start function, we're going to make sure to start our coroutine by saying start coroutine lose sanity. Now after this while statement is when this I enumerator will be over, so we're just going to say after gone insane. Now in the while statement above the yield return null, we're going to say sanity slider.value minus equals 2f times, and then we're going to make a new int value, and we're going to call it difficulty. So it'll be minus 2f times difficulty. And you can increase the difficulty to make it, obviously, more difficult. Now to test this out, we're going to go under our while statement, and we're going to make a debug.log, and I'm just going to say something like, you're nuts. Heading back into the editor, the last thing that we need to do is adjust our sanity's values. I'm going to make full sanity something like 10,000, and difficulty 2. And then you'll see in play mode, we'll gradually lose our sanity. And then finally in the console, it's going to say, you're nuts. Now we're just going to interrupt this video really fast for our sponsor, Namecheap. At Namecheap, you can get .com domain names for only $6.98 and .net for only $10.98. This could be great for your portfolio or your online business, and privacy and security are their top priority, so you don't have to worry about any big corporations stealing data from your customers. For your next purchase, use our affiliate link in the description. It helps us out a ton, and we'll get back to the video. Now we know that everything's working, let's go ahead and add in some effects. To do that, we're going to download post-processing from our package manager. I've already gone ahead and done so. Then we're going to create a new game object. This will serve as our post-processing volume. But before that, we're going to create a new layer. And we're just going to call it post-processing, set its layer to post-processing. And then finally, we're going to add the post-processing volume onto our game object. Go ahead and click the little button that says new, and that should create a profile. And then we're going to go ahead and add a vignette effect. And I'm just going to turn on intensity and smoothness. Turn on is global, and then let's go ahead and go to our player camera. And we're going to add a post-process layer component, and then change the layer to post-processing. And now we should be able to mess with the effect on our volume object. Now for my project, I'm going to have the smoothness turned all the way up, and then when he goes insane, you should just have this tiny little bubble to see through. Going back into our script, we should go to the top and say using Unity Engine.rendering.postprocessing, and then we're going to make a public post-process profile, and I'm just going to call it profile, then a private vignette called vignette, and then at the top of our start function, we're going to say profile.tryGetSetting out vignette. And now this is the same thing as if we assigned it in the inspector. So now our vignette is ready to go. Well, the last thing that we're going to do is before our coroutine starts, we're going to say vignette.intensity.value equals 0. Now before we jump into our coroutine, we're going to make a private float called %. And then in our coroutine, under the sanity slider.value, we're going to say float new value equals sanity slider.value minus sanity slider.maxValue in parentheses times -1. Then finally, we're going to say % equals new value divided by sanity slider.maxValue. And beneath that, say vignette.intensity.value equals %. And this will have it match up with the slider on a percentage basis, considering that vignette's intensity is between 0 and 1. Save that. Let's head back into the editor. Make sure to assign the profile to our new script. And if we hit play, we'll see that it works. All right, great. Now we're going to want something to happen after we've already gone completely insane. So let's go ahead and set that up. To do that, let's go ahead and open up our script again, and then at the top, we're going to say using Unity engine.events, and beneath all our variables, we're going to say public Unity event on insane. And then we're going to call that in place of our debug.log statement, save that, and let's head back into Unity. Now, because I'm keeping this simple, we're going to go into our canvas. I'm going to make a new image object. I'm just going to make it take up the whole screen, and then I'm going to make a text object, and I'm just going to have it say, "You're nuts." And this will kind of serve as our game over screen. And then I'm going to go ahead and drag it into the on insane event, and then go to game object and have it turn on when you've gone crazy, and turn it off before entering play mode. Now when we enter into play mode, you'll see that we slowly go dark and go crazy, and then finally, "You're nuts." Perfect. Now let's go ahead and make it so things can make us more insane or less insane. I would recommend using our interaction tutorial for this. For the example of this video, we're just going to use a very basic trigger handler. So going back into our script one more time, we're going to say public void affect sanity, and it's going to have a float called value. And then we're going to say sanity slider dot value plus equals value. Now this can be plus equals a negative number to reduce the sanity, or a positive number to increase it. Now to use this, we're going to make a very basic script, and I'm just going to call it trigger handler. You can see our full video on that here. But this one's just going to say void on trigger enter, and then void on trigger exit. We're going to say using Unity engine.events, and we're going to make an on enter event and an on exit event, and put them in their respective on trigger events. Now jumping back into the editor, let's go ahead and assign our script to our red, blue, and yellow cubes, and then we're going to have them all affect sanity in different ways. Once you're done, let's go ahead and test that out in play mode. Great, everything works as expected. If yours doesn't seem to be doing much of anything, then you probably just need to adjust the numbers. I made mine kind of ridiculous. That's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.